Hey everyone, it's Thursday night, so I'm on duty, chilling in the lounge, woohoo, watching Netflix. I'm hanging, just chilling. My friend and I went to dinner tonight at a restaurant, which was lovely. I love getting food somewhere else other than cooking it myself, so that was really nice. And then I posted a joke on my Snapchat story, and my mom was like, "What?" There's this like meme, I guess, of like people. It started out with people actually going on dates, and then it was just like people taking pictures of their friends and being like on a date, kind of nervous. So I did that with my really good friend, who's my freshman year roommate, and my mom was like, "Is Courtney on a date? Are you on a date with Courtney?" And I was like, "Mom, it's a joke. I'm not on a date with Courtney. Love her, very straight, but it's okay." So that was a thing, and what else? I'm on duty. I've already gotten a few calls, and that's it. Just hanging, just chilling, just watching some TV, just hanging out. I had a conversation with my sister last night about college and transitioning to college life, and she was just saying that she was getting stressed out, feeling like she has one foot at home and is trying to put one foot at school, and that was kind of stressing her out. And I completely understand. I feel like personally I've had one foot at home and one foot here for 2.5 years, and it was just this summer that I sort of started to get my second foot and take it to school and bring it with me. And it's mostly because she's not going to be at home anymore. And I feel like my whole thing is that my family has kept me partially at home and partially here. And it's not because of them, it's because of me. I'm a grown woman doing my college thing, but I really haven't been able to kind of let go and not call every single day and not talk to my family every single day and not worry about like what's going on at home until like the summer, where it's like I talk to my dad maybe once a week. I text my sister, and I talk to my mom. I talk to my mom once every morning, but that's only because she calls me on her way to work. So I've definitely felt like college transition has taken me quite a long time. I'm going into my junior year, and I just now feel like this place is my home rather than my home being my home. And I changed my thing on Facebook so that my home is the city that I live in now, as opposed to the city that I grew up in, the town that I grew up in, the town that I live in now. And it's kind of crazy to think that it takes that long to get completely 100% comfortable. I feel like I was comfortable at school starting my sophomore year, but wasn't fully here. And I had a very rough first semester back. My sophomore fall was not an easy semester for me. My trajectory in terms of difficult semesters has probably been first semester was the most difficult, then my sophomore fall, then my freshman spring, then my sophomore spring. So I've kind of had an up and down path through college thus far. I think that your sophomore year can be a difficult year just because you've made friends maybe in the year above you, and it's their junior year, so they all go abroad. And you're in this weird position where you kind of have power in organizations and on campus, but you also kind of don't. Like, the freshmen look up to you, but everybody else still sees you as a baby. And so you are in this really weird state where you're like older than most of campus, but also you know that in the spring all the juniors are going to come back and you're going to be the little kid again. So it's a very weird place, and I had a kind of difficult time with one of my grandfathers getting kind of sick and having to deal with that situation and eating up some stress with some stuff that was happening at home for my sister and her friends and stuff. It's kind of eating some of that, mentally taking on that stuff. And some of my friends, my really good friends, had left and weren't coming back until the spring, and that felt really challenging. And then also the fact that I was taking some classes that I was kind of out of my element in. I didn't take a single bio class my sophomore fall. I was taking a chemistry course and an English course. And chem is fine. I mean, I'm not super good at it, but like, it's science. I really struggled in my English class. I struggled through the whole thing. I barely knew what was going on. When my professor was interpreting certain things, I wouldn't understand where he got that from and all the stuff, and I had a really hard time because he made us take tests, which like normally in all of our other English classes it's always been like paper writing, and so I was going into it expecting like, oh, we're gonna have to write papers and that's what we're gonna have to do, and we're gonna have to do deep analysis that takes, you know, time to write like a paper over 3 weeks or whatever, or 2 weeks even maybe. But like I expected that kind of thing, and then he was giving us like quote identification tests, and it was just a whole mess, and that class wasn't really easy for me. And I was also sort of feeling like overwhelmed with work and just friendship stuff, and like all these things were happening. So my sophomore fall was kind of rough, but I've never not felt comfortable on campus, even if I've not had the easiest time sometimes, even when I've struggled, even when I have had rough days. Like, it always feels like this is where I'm meant to be, and if I'm meant to be struggling, I'm meant to be struggling. It's going to happen, but I'm going to get through it, kind of thing. And so I think like that kind of moment for me where I realized like, well, this is hard, but I'm here and I'm in it and I'm staying here and I'm digging my heels in and I'm gonna show him who's boss, kind of thing, was probably the moment I stepped on campus for orientation. Was like all of my anxiety and all of the like sadness and anxiousness about leaving all my friends behind sort of dissipated, and I just felt like, okay, I'm meant to be here. Even if it's not going to be easy and I'm going to cry and I'm going to struggle here and it's going to be uncomfortable at times, like I belong here and this is where I'm meant to be. And I think that especially in the last few weeks of summer, you don't fully get that when you're making a transition. And so it's hard when you don't really have one foot anywhere. It's kind of like she's lifted one foot up. She has one foot firmly planted at home, and then the other is in the air because it hasn't landed yet at school. So it'll take some time for her to make that transition. And it's also tough because our school starts particularly early. We're starting later than normal this year, but classes are starting on the 26th of August, so we're still earlier than a lot of schools, I would say. This year is just because they didn't want to make the freshmen come on like the 14th or the 15th of August. They pushed school back a week, so it's instead of starting on the 19th, we're starting on the 26th. And so for my sister and for a lot of people who come to this school, and for me, I was on campus I think my orientation started on the 16th of August, so I was on campus like 15 days before most of my friends were even leaving for orientation, because a lot of my friends didn't start until September, and it was just really difficult to like think about having to make that transition when everybody else is still in summer. And that's exactly what my sister's gonna have to do, because all of her friends don't start school until September 1st or like maybe a little bit before that. And it's just the way that it is, and it sucks when you're the first one to go and do it, but you kind of get the satisfaction of, you know, the next weekend when you're going out for your first parties and spending time with your brand new friends and like taking a break from your brand new classes that you've learned so much in the first week already and you can't believe you've learned it, but people are just starting and you're already a week in. And so it's hard at first, but it gets better. And that's what we kind of had a conversation about, where I was like, yeah, this is like unbelievably difficult. What you're going through right now is the hardest part, and you step foot on campus and you're meant to be here and you feel it, and it's fine, and you're fine after that. You're not gonna not cry when your parents leave and you're left by yourself and I'm not around to hang out with you, but you're not gonna feel that way. The anxiety and the stress that happens during a transition is not going to haunt you for all of college. It's just going to be that one, you know, this one 3-week chunk, and then you're gonna get here and it's gonna be great. But for this 3 weeks, like, you're gonna feel really terrible inside. You're gonna want to cry all the time. And I know, because 2 years ago, that's exactly where I was. I was super anxious. I was super worried, super nervous about everything. The concept of taking a shower scared me. The concept of having to, like, go to the bathroom in front of a bunch of other girls who I'd never met before also scared me. The thought of living with somebody else scared me. And now I post jokes that my mom thinks are really real, and she thinks I'm gay, but I'm not. So yeah, you never know what will happen. So anyway, all this to say that change is tough, and it happens to all of us at the worst times, and we get through it, and then we have to do it all over again as soon as we're comfortable. So I wish you the best of luck in all your changes as well. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.